The single one. I've watched so many sad stories here over the last month or so, and I've decided it's time to add mine. Married 19 years with 2 kids, 18-year-old daughter and 16-year-old son. 6 weeks ago, my wife told me she's been cheating on me. I had been suspicious for some time. I certainly knew something was horribly wrong in our marriage and that she had pushed me away emotionally. For some reason, she decided to come clean, sort of. To keep from dragging this out too much, I'll compress the details. She told me she'd been having an affair with a co-worker, but initially lied about the timeline and details. Over the next week, she told me the whole story, and as it turns out, it was more than one affair. It was an affair 5 years ago with a co-worker that lasted a short time, her current affair with a co-worker that has lasted 3 years, and a one-night stand on a business trip a year ago. Needless to say, I am devastated, crushed, ripped apart. I was in no way prepared for that. It has been the worst 6 weeks of my life. She told me she had ended the affair and wanted to fix us. Not true. She has remained in contact with the current 3-year affair through Messenger. She changed jobs and moved away from where he works, but what else is there to say? She hasn't stopped all contact. She has not provided transparency. She really has done nothing. She has begun individual counseling. We've gone to couples counseling twice, but I'm not sure she truly wants to work it out. I've been a complete mess. I'm all over the place. One minute I want to run and file for divorce. The next I can't imagine my life without her. I've told her I think we could get through this, and I've also told her I want her out of the house. She won't leave. I've begun intense counseling and have been reading everything I can get my hands on. I'm now at a place, 6 weeks in, where I feel like I can think a bit more clearly. She has moved into the spare room, so we are in different rooms at least, but for most of the time over the last few weeks I have followed her around trying to get her to talk and explain to me, and beg me for forgiveness, etc. Of course that pushed her away further. I have for the past few days tried to seriously implement a 180. I'm only moderately successful so far. I do love her, but I don't think I can get over this. I don't think she wants me to, even though she says she's done with the other guy and never wants to be with him. He's married with 2 kids, and yes, his wife now knows about the affair. I just don't know what to do. I definitely want to get past Christmas before I do anything, but then what? This sucks so badly. I can't imagine starting over at 48 years old. I can't imagine finding happiness with someone else. I also can't imagine staying with my wife after the pain she has caused me, and I'm not sure she really wants to stay either. I know the outcome of this, I just don't want to accept it. Man, I still am, in love with her. I obviously did not get everything right in our marriage, but what the hell? By the way, if anyone has read No Nice Guy, that book is like a blueprint of me. I'm working through that in counseling. I can definitely see my contribution throughout our marriage to her unhappiness. I'm in no way excusing what she did, just trying to be honest with myself about my shortcomings in our relationship. So, in summary, self-reflection and counseling, hitting the gym like crazy, trying the 180, still completely miserable and don't know what to do. I never imagined my life would be like this. Like comment, dude, what is there to save? Your wife is a phony and a scam artist. 48 years old is young, that is a guy's prime still. There are good women out there. You can find one and have a good relationship for the rest of your life. Look, you have 2 choices. 1 year of intense pain where you detach, and at the end of it you will wonder why you ever wanted to stay. You will also think that your marriage wasn't as good as you thought. You will think why I put up with it for so long. Or you can stay with this serial cheater who probably cheated on you more than just these 2 times and probably will for the rest of your life. Your wife is like a burned out drug addict. You need to start seeing her this way. She is just not marriage material. Unfortunately, you marred a person that is really only good for partying with and having fun with. Or you can open your marriage since you have been living in an open marriage anyway. The problem with that is you seem like the monogamous type, and being in an open marriage is going to prevent you from finding the kind of women who you might want to move on with. Work on getting strong so you can move on. Toxic people make for toxic lives. Okay, I said all that because that is my usual advice. It's good advice too, but let's get down to what your real problem is. It's what has been your problem for a while. It's why you resonate with that book. Your problem is fear. You have always been afraid of losing her, and it has been the motivation in all your actions. It also makes you an easy target for women who will cheat. It also will drive away women who are not cheaters because they will be attracted to assertiveness. Worst of all, your fear has got you desperately holding on to a woman who treated you terribly. You need to break the cycle. The good news is this is the kind of thing that if you learn to get strength from it, you will never have this kind of fear of losing someone again. It will change your whole life. In my mind, I realize the situation I'm in and what I need to do. In my heart, I'm still grieving for the loss of what I believed my life to be. Every day is constant pain. My mind is in overdrive and I can't concentrate for more than 10 seconds. Every day does get a little better, but it still feels like this will never end. I know that as much as I wish I could totally forgive her and build a better marriage from the ashes of this one, that will never happen. She won't do even the most basic steps to work on things, and she'll never do all the things I would require to even remotely trust her. Yes, I fully realize what that means. She does not want to save the marriage. She's forcing me to do what she should have done 5 years ago. My problem now is she won't leave. We've talked about separation, but she thinks I should move out. I refuse to, she refuses to, so we're stuck in the same house, separated, but living together. I hate it. She makes decent money, plus she's going to get a portion of my military retirement, so she can easily afford to move out. She just thinks she should get the house. I refuse to let that happen. Maybe I'm just being stubborn and not thinking clearly, but I believe she should suffer the consequences of her actions, and I shouldn't have to suffer anymore. All this makes my brain hurt, and I don't think I'm clear enough in the head or heart to make good decisions right now. On another note, a few people mentioned genetic testing for my kids. We had to have that done for my daughter a few years ago for some medical issues, and I just tested my son a few weeks ago. They are mine, so that's one issue I can put to rest. I need to get tested for STD. Oh, one other point. Someone said I wondered what prompted her to tell me. She had broken it off with the other guy and he got mad at her and reached out to her brother, very strange, and told her he was reaching out to me, so she had to do it first. He did reach out to me, by the way. He's a very strange and broken person, filled with hate and anger. I still can't believe this is my life. OP responds. I told her last night that I was divorcing her. I told her there was no way we could ever work this out and that I would not be going to counseling with her anymore. I'm definitely going to continue the individual counseling. This came as no surprise to her. She said she was just waiting for this. I laughed and said, of course, you kept talking to the so what choice did I have? I believe she is relieved. This is what she wanted, but for whatever reason couldn't bring herself to do it. I'm going to a lawyer Monday to start the process. I think we can agree on 95% of the property division, just not the house, so I guess a judge can decide unless she changes her mind. I'll try and answer some of the questions that have been asked. Who else knows? Her two best girlfriends, her brother, my parents. I understand the advice about blowing it up. I'm not trying to get her mad and vindictive. As many have said, there's nothing to save here, so I'm letting it go for now. What did the say when he contacted me? In whatever fight the two of them had when she was breaking up with him, she told him she was going to tell me everything, and he didn't believe her. He wanted to make sure I knew it all, but it was only one part he truly cared about. He was so mad at my wife because of her one-night stand during the business trip. He wanted to make sure I knew that. He was mad because she cheated on him. The irony in that is almost comical. He also wanted to go out of his way to call her all kinds of names and tell me what a puss I am. He's a gem. How do I know wife really knows? As stated, this guy is crazy. When he reached out to my brother-in-law, he did that because my wife had broken up with him and he was mad. My brother-in-law took all the texts he sent and found the guy's wife on Facebook and sent them to her. Then reached back out to my wife and told her his wife knew. I guess I don't really know if that's true or not, but this guy is crazy and I'm not interested in provoking him. I have seen some of the crazy things he said to my wife because he's mad. She cut him off. He's sick and unstable. There's nothing good that can come from me antagonizing him. I'm prepared in case he ever shows up at my house, and I am prepared to let his employer know if I have to, but that would be a protective measure, not a first strike. My wife and I, all work for the government, and people have to trust I know what I'm doing on this front. People have mentioned that there are probably other affairs. There could be. It's true, I would have no idea, and why would she tell me? She's a professional liar, and at least 5 years of my marriage have been a complete lie. I guess it doesn't matter at this point. There's nothing to save. It's not going to make me feel better to know. She has no reason to tell me. I don't want to fight about it. At this point, I'm just looking to get out as quickly and cleanly as possible. I told her I would be fair in the divorce and of course follow what the law requires, but that I would not pay alimony. She agrees, and that I would not give her anything beyond what is required. We have significant assets, so she's going to walk away from this well off, especially if she would let me buy her out of the house. So, I'm not trying to escalate anything at this point. She's not going to accuse me of assault or anything. Yes, I know I don't really know her or what she's capable of, but I do have a cell phone and a digital recorder, and one of my kids are usually at home, so it would be hard for her to make that up. I'm not worried, but I am prepared. I believe she wants out quickly also. She knows we could waste $10 of thousands on lawyers, or we can figure this out, mostly, together and save a ton of money on the divorce. She wants to figure it out and get it over with too. She doesn't want to be with me and I don't want to be with her anymore, so we should be able to work our way through this as amicably as possible. Every day is a little better as far as my pain level. I certainly have my moments of complete disbelief and anger still, but it's not constant anymore. I appreciate the words of support and wisdom, even the harsh slaps of reality being laid down on me. I'm getting a much better perspective on myself and certainly on her. I agree with what some others have said. Nothing has changed for her and she hasn't suffered any consequences for anything. But I don't want vengeance and I'm not trying to inflame anything. I just want to move on. I've completely pulled back and told her we don't have anything to talk about except how to split assets. She has come around on moving out, so that's a positive. Unfortunately, in Virginia there's a 1-year cooling off period before the divorce is final. I could file a fault divorce, but the lawyer says that's not the way to go. It still takes about a year and costs multiples more than a mediated divorce. That's the direction we're going. So, a year before it's final, that seems like a long time, but it costs less and the end result will be the same. I'm sure some will say to go all out and fight for everything. That's not the best choice for this situation. As long as she's being reasonable, I'll go the mediated route. Even her lawyer's advice was to make this as easy as possible and not fight with me. If she changes her mind and becomes difficult, I will have no choice except to go all out. I think the mediated route will work for us, so hopefully it doesn't come down to fighting. She did come up to me tonight and had a breakdown and said over and over how sorry she was for screwing our lives up. I'm sure she is sorry, just not for the right reasons. I still can't believe this is my life, but I'm taking action and moving forward, and I'm going to embrace this situation and come out the other side better and stronger. Of course, it doesn't make anything better. She's not sorry for anything she did to me. She's only sorry for the deeply negative impact this is going to have on her lifestyle. If she had her way, I would accept a sorry about that and move on like everything was okay and never mention it again until the next time she cheated on me. I'm not buying anything she says to me or any tears she sheds in front of me. None of it means anything. As the days tick by, the hurt continues to fade and I continue to work on me. It's still hard for me to believe this woman who I had such strong feelings for and a great deal of respect for turns out to be a complete stranger to me, and a not very nice stranger at that. I continue to mourn the loss of this relationship and the loss of this person I thought I knew. None of that changes the awakening I've had about myself or about her. I know there's no going back when it comes to her. I still have a long road to go on that because this is still a shock to me, and 7 weeks ago, I thought she was the love of my life. I just have to remind myself every day who she really is, and the marriage I thought was pretty good was really a complete disaster, and I own a portion of that. I'm not sure if she'll attempt to get back with me, but I know what the answer is if she does. I changed her name on my phone to Pain and Suffering, and the ringtone to Sabotage, because she did that to our marriage and she'll do it to me if I let her, just to remind me what she is to me if she calls. I do truly hope she pulls herself together and gets her life straight, for my kids first, and then for her own good. I hope my bullcrap detector is stronger than it was, but I still need to work on that a great deal too. I know my view on relationships is and has been completely screwed up. I'm reading everything I can, including books on codependency, communication, better relationships, etc. I'm also going to see a couple hours a week for now. I'll slow it down once I'm past this initial trauma phase. I know I've mentioned not knowing how to start over at my age and wondering if I would ever find someone else. I realize more and more that's just my insecurities getting the best of me. The best thing I can do right now is focus on my kids and myself and learn how to be okay with me and not emotionally dependent on someone else. I see hope on the horizon. Update to my situation. It's been over 3 months since D-Day for me. For the most part it has been complete hell, but I have been pushed in directions that have proven to be good for me. I've discovered strengths I didn't know I had, and I'm learning more about myself emotionally than I ever have. I feel better, emotionally and physically, than I have in years. Things are still tough and I have some bad days and sleepless nights, but they are fewer and fewer as time passes. My STBX signed a lease on her new place and will be moving out soon. We are working through the marital property agreement amicably, and all things should be sorted out within the next few weeks. I have a solid lawyer who has provided good advice, and the legal part should move flawlessly. While the divorce will still take a year, we were able to start the clock with the in-house separation, so only 9 more months to go. My STBX had a mental breakdown on New Year's Day. I guess the reality of the consequences of her actions finally sunk in. I thought I was going to have to take her to the hospital, but we got through it. Yes, I was there for her in those moments when she was at her lowest despite what she did to me and our marriage. She is and always will be the mother of my children, and I did it for them. I don't want to see anything bad happen to her. I hope she pulls her crap together and straightens out. I believe she is working in the right direction now, so she can be a better mother to them. This has been the worst period of my life, but I see better days ahead. My son will be staying in the house with me. He's 16. He'll be free to spend as much time as he wants with his mother, but primarily will live with me. My daughter, 18 years old, has decided to go with her mother but will spend time with me. She'll be leaving for college next fall, so it's all short-term with her. This is not where I thought I would be at this point in my life, but I realize how screwed up my marriage was. I'm trying to own my part, and I know this will be better than staying in a dysfunctional relationship. So, day by day I'm moving forward. She has apologized many times. Has she shown remorse? Not at all. Oh, she's sorry, just not for the right things. She has become a completely unrecognizable person to me. Her behavior and personality changes are almost as upsetting to me as the affairs. It has happened so quickly and so dramatically it's almost unbelievable to me. I'm not sure how she kept everything hidden for so long, and now that she's exposed, how she fell apart so quickly. I'm not sure if I agree she'll be back looking to make another go of it with me later. I'm not sure what she's going to do. I'm completely baffled by her behavior lately. I just want distance from her so I can think straight. I do agree she's going to be busy trying to make ends meet, and her lifestyle is going to be very different. Somehow, she'll be mad at me about it all. It's been a year since D-Day. So I thought I would provide an update. What a year this has been. It's been filled with more stress, loss, and craziness than I thought I could ever handle. With that said, things are great. On top of the craziness of finding out my wife was cheating on me and dealing with all of that, I lost my father in May and had my own health issue in August, a ruptured disc in my neck that required a surgery. But as I said, despite everything, I'm doing great. So, here's the update. The 1-year separation required by Virginia has been met and the divorce will be finalized soon. My STBX agreed to everything I wanted in the separation agreement months ago. I have the house, my son lives with me full-time, my daughter is off at college. All of our assets have been separated and accounts were divided back in Jan. It took me some time to get over feeling sorry for myself and to get used to being alone. Lots of individual therapy and reading tons of books has helped me immensely. I have a completely different outlook on life and a much different view of myself. The vast majority of the advice I received from the members of TAM was exactly on point. I tried to follow the advice the best I could, getting a lawyer immediately, separating bank account, getting her to sign an agreement early on. The best thing that could have happened was getting her out of the house and shutting myself off from her. She had much further to fall and her continued craziness had little effect on me because I had distanced myself from her. As many people stated, what she told me about her infidelity turned out to be partial truth. There was more that turned up later and I'm just glad I wasn't trying to reconcile with her. It would have been messy and much more painful. She is the epitome of a serial cheater and a broken person. Also, as many people predicted, she did come back about a month ago and begged for another chance. The harsh reality of losing what she so viciously tore apart and threw away, our relationship, has set in and she realizes her life is much harder now. Again, it was easy for me to send her away because I have moved on. My kids are doing very well and have handled everything exceptionally. They do know what happened, although I chose not to tell them about her infidelity. I didn't want to seem like I was trying to turn them against their mother. There was no attempt at so I saw no point in exposure to them. It would have simply been out of spite and I'm past that. I'm not sure how they found out and I really don't care. My relationship with my kids is the best it's ever been. Again, I worked very hard to follow the advice given by people on here. Number 1, I took care of myself. I changed my diet, my lifestyle, my mindset, and my outlook. I've lost 45 pounds and work out at least 5 days a week. Running, weights, stretching. It's been great. I eat healthier and sleep better than I have in years. It's amazing what an effect those things have had on me both physically and emotionally. I continued with IC and that helped immensely. I've also read so much material on a wide variety of subjects from codependency to dealing with a narcissist. All of it has helped me to fundamentally see myself and the world around me in a different light. I've spent a great deal of time studying how I dealt with relationships and women in the past and I've learned so much about myself and implemented changes to those broken behaviors. It has truly been amazing. Number 2, I dealt with the realities of sorting through my divorce head-on. I've already covered most of that so I won't repeat it, but I will say, taking decisive, laser-focused action is so important and very liberating. I know I was very worried about starting over at 48. Of course, a lot of that stemmed from the shock of everything that happened to my relationship and my codependent tendencies. What a difference a year makes. The side benefit of my physical changes and emotional changes is that I am in high demand. It's not something I could have imagined and it's certainly different than anything I've experienced before. I have more dates than I can handle and I've met some wonderful women. I'm not close to being ready to be in a LTR yet, and I'm brutally honest with everyone about that. But I'm enjoying the opportunity to meet great women and experience dating in a way I never dreamed of. I have a totally different focus on life and relationships now. I see things from a perspective of abundance as opposed to scarcity. It's amazing. Starting over from that respect was the least of my worries. All of the other things have been much more difficult, but the outcome has been good. My words of wisdom, take that with a grain of salt. At this point, to anyone reading this who has been betrayed by their spouse, reconciliation, for me, was not even a possibility. I would be much worse off had I tried that. Immediate decisive action is very important, both in taking care of yourself and in dealing with your situation. That doesn't mean run out and start doing crazy stuff. Get advice, get a plan, and get moving. Seriously, take care of yourself. That's the best part of all this for me. Only you are in control of you. Don't let another person's thoughts or actions drag you down. I'm so much better off emotionally and physically now than I have been for years. The rot in my marriage and her behavior towards me, lying, gaslighting, etc. was like poison to me. Get away from it. That brings me to my last point. Trust your gut, your instincts, your inner voice. If you think something's wrong, do something. I wasted 2 years ignoring what I knew all along. To answer the mystery, she came back and said she was hoping we could try and work it out. This was after her most recent AP came over to her condo and screamed at her in front of all the neighbors and dumped a soda over her head. In my previous posts I mentioned this guy was crazy. We seemingly had a great life together. I treated her with nothing but love and respect. We were very well off with a large house, swimming pool, vacations, nice cars, money in the bank. I realize these things mean nothing in the grand scheme of a relationship, just trying to set the stage a bit. I now have all that. My son lives with me full-time. My daughter is off at college. She lives alone in a pretty nice condo but is alone with a tarnished reputation to keep her company. She asked if we could try again, telling me she realizes how stupid she was, how great a guy I am, how she realizes she messed everything up, etc. etc. I'm over the anger and I have no ill will for her at this point. I simply said what she did to me for so many years was unrecoverable, and stated I wouldn't allow myself to be haunted by her bad behavior and I would never put myself back in that situation. She thanked me for my honesty and that was it. As I've said before, I want nothing more than for her to pull herself together so she can be the best mother she can be to our kids. I hope she does. Just to be clear, I would never dream of taking her back. Perhaps there is a time and place for attempts at reconciliation after infidelity in some relationships. Mine is not one of them. There is nothing she could say or do that would sway me at all. This last year has given me the time and distance to work through the trauma and grief of what she put me through. My comment shows that R is usually a very tough thing to achieve, and many times would not be the correct path, especially since your wife wasn't remorseful and was still in contact with the OM. Story 2. Are you going to the gym? I'm anonymous here, so I'm going to be honest. I'm physically a 9 out of 10 in terms of male beauty. Random people I don't know tell me that I look like an actor. Dark hair, blue eyes, actor's face, fit. Women in the office is 100% female besides me. Buy me random gifts like candy, etc. One of them took an art class to learn how to paint, then painted a painting for my office. Hi. Most of them stare at me constantly, and it's been getting worse. It's honestly creepy at this point. They invent BS reasons to talk to me. Many of them lost weight and started exercising when I joined the company 1 year ago. The CEO, who is also female, works in a different HQ office. The week I started, she came to my office and said she saw my picture online and had to see what I looked like in person. A group of them begged me to join their workout group. I get harassed in my car and on the street by random women. Anyway, we're all working at home right now. One of them, married like most of them, has started emailing me and asked me to call her during the day just to say hi. What do I do? 1. HR. 2. Ignore her, but she's a VP and I'm on a level below that. And I love my job. 3. Give in to it. She's like a 7 out of 10, so I'm not even attracted to her, but I'd sleep with her if desperate. The CEO is a newlywed and she's into me. I know it. I'm not losing this damn job, but I feel pressure from all around me. Most of the entire office plus the CEO is into me. All of them. It's horrible and I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. I'm not just attractive, I'm extremely attractive. Top 5% of all men attractive. I've known it my entire life and my life has been a damn nightmare for the most part because of it. Targeted by pedophiles as a young kid, attacked by bullies, molested by teachers, harassed by men who think I'm gay when I'm not, hit on by my friends' GF or wives. It's been a nightmare. She doesn't give out a vibe that she might be interested because she's a female, and that's what females do. I'm not. I'm a male. Major difference. I'm not attracted to the litter. It's not their fault at all, it's me. I wouldn't touch a woman from the litter if she was the last woman on earth. I'm cursed and no one will ever feel sorry for me. I'm not pursuing her. She is buying me gifts and calling me and emailing me. I understand that she is married, but she is pursuing me. I am attracted to women only, but only those who are at least as attractive as I am. I can find none of those. Where are they? Who are they? And yes, I'm very conflict avoidant. I don't know how you picked up on that. I'm an adult survivor of child abuse, so maybe that's why I avoid conflict to this day. I don't know. I don't have a seriously hot girlfriend because their beauty is just as rare as mine is. They are extremely rare to come across, and since women want to be the good-looking ones in a relationship, I can't find any that are better looking than me. It's lonely and depressing. I'm not physically attracted to the vast majority of women I see on the street. In my early 20s, a girl approached me in a club and she was pregnant 3 days later on our first date. I was abandoned by my own father at an early age and didn't want my own son to grow up under those horrific conditions. So, I married the girl I impregnated. We are not together anymore, but that child lives with me. I have zero self-confidence and no ability to sustain boundaries. I impregnated another man's wife in their house when I was drunk. He was asleep, and she rode on top of me in the living room. The guilt will haunt me forever. In my 20s, when I would go out clubbing, I never had to ask a girl to dance. I never asked for a phone number. All I had to do was walk into a bar or club and women would approach me. None of them wanted to date. No movies, no candlelit dinners, nothing. They just wanted to screw around. They wanted my DNA. All I wanted was a girlfriend to take out to a movie, but nope. It was depressing as hell, and as an adult, society seemed nothing at all like I was taught it was as a kid. Marriage means nothing. The vast majority of women I've been with in my life were in committed relationships. I approached none of them. They approached me. All of them. I started writing this because a woman at work, who of course is married, wants to sleep with me. I hate it. I bend over backwards to be kind to people. I don't start arguments. I'm never rude, and people tell me they love me for my personality. I was engaged as a kid, so I'm also highly intelligent. I was born gifted. I'm both extremely intelligent and extremely attractive, which puts me in the 1% of the 1%. What I want is to find the female version of me, but she doesn't exist. Instead, I exist in an office full of women who I'm not attracted to and who won't leave me alone. A few hours ago, a coworker video called me when I was in my home office. We're all working from home now. She was in bed and she told me that my camera was not on. She asked me to turn it on. I did, and she panned her laptop's camera down to show me her giant tits. She was wearing clothes, and I'm sure it was just an accident. It was gross. I ended the call shortly thereafter. She's the same one who asks me to parade around in front of the workout group when we're working out together. My comment: she's probably just lonely and not getting any attention or bonding from her husband. Give her something to feel happy about. After all, she is married and probably not looking for anything serious other than bonding. I'm sure she's not trying to leave her husband for you. She just wants a good time. It would be easier to just sleep with her. Keep your job. Just let her know it's a one-time thing. Also might get you a higher position.